Welcome to the Profit Talk Show. In this show, we're going to explore strategies to help you maximize profits in your business while scaling and creating the lifestyle that you want as an entrepreneur. I am your host, Susanne Mariga. I am a certified public accountant, a certified profit first professional, and a certified tax coach. And today we're going to talk about strategies to help you maximize profits in your business. Hello, Profit First entrepreneurs and thought leaders. I am so excited because today we have a very special guest. I have joining me today Shay Wheat. She is an accomplished investor, visionary entrepreneur, and she's also the founder and CEO of a company called Grace and Ease Productions. Shay partners with coaches, consultants, and experts to create transformative one-to-many sales strategies that empower entrepreneurs to achieve remarkable success. Her team of certified event producers support every aspect of event planning and production for virtual as well as in-person events. Shay's expertise ensures entrepreneurs rapidly scale their businesses while saving time and resources. As the host of podcast Creating Powerful Impact, Shay shares insights and guidance, helping entrepreneurs make lasting difference. Shay and her team are revolutionizing the event-based marketing and sales strategies, paving the way for entrepreneur success. So please join me in welcoming Shay Wheat to our platform. Hey, Shay, how are you doing today?
I'm phenomenal. How are you?
I am so zoomed out, so I am so glad that you are here.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is. If I have to sit through another Zoom, I think I might just go bonkers out there. So this is a really great discussion today.
Yeah, I'm excited because you're right. A lot of people are zoomed out. And they want to, it's kind of like we did that whole pendulum switching, right? We were completely in person and then completely virtual, and now everyone's going, I want to go back to in person, or what is the happy medium? How do we do both?
I love it. And it's interesting too because, even like just coming off of Zoom and meeting on Google Meets is refreshing. I'm like, what does that say? Like what does that say when you like even happier to meet on Google Meets than Zoom, anything but Zoom?
Yeah, well, and it's kind of like I like to look at events similar to Netflix. So we can still do a virtual live event, so live in person on Zoom, but how do you make it like Netflix? How do you keep it entertaining? How do you keep it interesting? How do you utilize audio visual and videos and sounds and engagement to make it so you're not like, oh my God, I'm going to be on here for another 8 hours. What in the world am I going to just, I'm done. How do you keep it engaging like you were watching a movie?
I love it. So first of all, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into it.
Yeah, so we have the honor and privilege of supporting speakers, coaches, experts, anybody with a passion to get their message out to the world, and they want to utilize events as that platform to do that. I kind of fell into it. I was trying to figure out what in the world I wanted to do with my life. And I ended up speaking on a stage with a bunch of different speakers. And so we were going, changing the microphones back and forth. And so the guy that was going to give me his microphone was like, I told him, hey, dude, don't go spitting on my mic. He laughed at me. He's like, you're funny. Who are you? Turns out he was the head of education for Dr. Oz's nonprofit. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had just met Saval Oz, his sister, at Maria Shriver's women's conference when she was the first lady of California. And he looked at me and he's like, we're doing a women's conference. You should help us. And I said, okay. So that was my first introduction to event production, being an associate producer in charge of over 70 speakers and 100 volunteers.
What about having something dropped in your lap, right? Like this is
Yes.
like the universe saying you were meant to do this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like Dr. Oz. I mean, like,
Right. I know. No pressure.
wow, wow. So you do these big events then.
I do the gamut, right? So we get to support our clients that are doing, 4,000 person events. And then I have a medical doctor that helps other medical doctors get out of insurance-based into cash-based businesses. And she had 10 people in her room, but she ended up walking away with multiple five figures in one day. So we can support both sides.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That is so, so interesting. So first of all, let's talk about who do events work for? Does it work for everybody? Is it something that we should all try or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, events are the fastest way for people to know, like, and trust you. Why is that? Really, we end up becoming, if done right, going into an emotional state where they have this highly experiential bond with you. So it's a little bit different than being on the phone or, like you were saying, over the web, on Zoom. It's dramatically different when you're in person and you're on that stage. Now, all the businesses that are doing events are the ones that are making multiple six figures and beyond. Now, it's not as hard as you might think when it's done right. So as I was saying, we have clients that'll make $882,000 at her very first 2-day live event, like nearly $1 million in 2 days. And now she's like off and running and she's playing in the big leagues. And then we also have the clients that are going, I just want to engage with my clients at a different level. We had somebody who has a membership offer. She helps people paint, like in their living rooms or whatever, painting, and it's a membership. But she wanted to bring her community together in person over 2.5 days and had 250 people painting, but it was the community, it was the connection, and her retention is like 96% in her membership because she utilizes events to bring them together. So events are great to be utilized in any piece of your business. It just depends on where are you in business? I know a lot of your listeners are, multiple six figures, seven figures. They absolutely deserve to be utilizing events in some way, whether it's a masterclass or using it within their program itself as a fulfillment event, and highly recommend an enrollment event. Instead of
I
going one-on-one sales calls, do one to many and sell from the stage.
I love it. I love it. And what a way of doing it when people are already so excited to be there and they just want to add on more, right?
Mhm.
And so the question is, where does it start? Like, how do you start planning an event? Like, where do you even go? Like, I mean, I wouldn't even know what city to go to. Like, where do you start at?
Well, I even before going into the city, I'm always asking clients, what is the purpose and intention? Why are we doing the event in the first place? Are you wanting to build community with your current membership? Are you wanting to sell your high ticket offer? Are you wanting to do a multi-speaker event? Like, what is the purpose and intention of the event? And then we reverse engineer it from there. So, for instance, if you're like, I want to sell one to many, I want to sell my 10K, 20K, 30K program from the stage and, just get it out there and start, right? I'm tired of having the one-on-one sales calls. Great. So from there, it's like, okay, where's your current audience kind of located if you want to be in person? So I guess the next question is, are you in person or are you virtual? Or are you hybrid? Hybrid is a completely different beast and it is two events. So be prepared. It's a heavy, heavy lift. If you've never done an event before, I do not recommend starting with hybrid. Start with an in person. Where's the majority of your audience kind of hang out? Are they central to you? Or are you somebody that's like, I have a bunch of my team here local in the area and I don't want to fly my team all over the place. I want everybody to come to us. Groovy. And then you want to like reach out to somebody like myself because negotiations alone with hotels and venues have just become insane with what they ask for. And if you don't know how to ask for things or what to take out of a contract, we've saved a client $15,000 by taking one sentence out of a contract.
Wow.
Yeah, insane.
I just heard the coffee, right? It's the coffee that kills.
Oh my gosh, the coffee, that's a whole nother thing. They're probably, I've seen $100 to $150 for a gallon of coffee and hot water. It's hot water. It's hot water and some tea bags. Yes. So we would negotiate things along those lines as well.
I love it. I love it. And so once you have your venue in place, like how do you, I think a lot of times people are surprised, and I think most of our 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs have realized it that just because you open your curtain, you open your doors, doesn't mean people come in, right?
Yes.
How do you get people even knowing about your event, hyped up about your event?
Yeah, so we'll do what's known as a ticket map. And so we are literally mapping out how are we planning on selling tickets for people to come to the event? Where are your people at? So are you doing your email list? Excuse me. Are you doing um, a joint venture partner call? So maybe you have somebody that has a similar niche to you, or they serve the same audience, but they do something different. They're either before or after what it is that you do. And maybe they would do a mailing for you, or maybe you could go and speak to their audience and they would be an affiliate. Are you somebody that wants to go and network and connect with people and you're going to events to invite people to your event? Um, do you have a podcast? What are all the different ways that you would reach the people in your audience to invite them? Is it only for past clients, right? So for my client that has the painting business, she only opened it up to her membership. She didn't go outside. So where are they all hanging out? And then from there, it's like, okay, I'm going to go and speak on somebody else's stage. They're going to have 50 people that are probably my ideal audience. Of those 50 people, 20% are going to go ahead and pick up a ticket. Great. That starts adding up all the numbers line by line by line. And if your goal is 100 people in the event, how are we going to make all those lines add up to 100 people? And I would actually suggest going over 100 because life happens. People need to, not come and no show or adjust or go to the next one. So, you know, plan for 120, 130 tickets, assuming not all of them would show.
I love it. I love it. That's definitely good advice because you're never going to get 100% attendance rate. And so, like, a lot of times people struggle if it's their first event. What do we talk about? Like, how do you present for like 16 hours straight?
You would be amazed at how much you know. So, because we're reverse engineering from what's the purpose and intention. So, let's say you are selling into your high ticket offer. You're going to do a 3-day event selling into your high ticket offer. We literally take the content of your program and put it into the run a show because what we're doing is the event is kind of like an appetizer, right? We're giving them the big, huge overview. So we know, or you know, being the expert, that when people come to you, they have a certain problem. Your offer and your program fits that solution. So all we're doing is bringing them in with the problem that they have, showing them what they need to do, and then the gap is your program. So we strategically place certain pieces of your program within the run a show, which opens up the gap for them to say, okay, my logical next best step is to move into the program. I know what I can do. I can go and do it on my own. But if I want to go quicker, I want to go faster, I want to have accountability, then I'm going to say, I want you to support me in getting there.
I love it. I absolutely love that. And so it's really falling back on what you know and being able to present that is really important.
Yeah, I am pulling content out. A lot of my clients are like, but I want to tell them this and I want to share them this and then they could do this. And it's like, yeah, we only have 3 days together. Like your program does all of that in a year.
Do you have
Like
to
that's
memorize all that? Like, or like, I'm just curious because, I've done keynotes and it can take a while just to memorize an hour long keynote.
Oh, well, no, we're not necessarily memorizing it because one, it's kind of in your body and your bones, right? So when you're doing a keynote, there's certain beats that you want to hit, right? Certain content topics you want to hit. When you're doing a 3-day event, one, you have me and my team. We've got confidence monitors, you've got slides, you've got all of the things that help you move forward. And they want to see the humanity too. So if you're having like a divine download and you're like, oh, I wanted to share this, that, and the other, and you're now off script, you just go, all right, Shay, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And on the confidence monitor, I'm telling you where you're going next. So you're never really lost. And just kind of an insight note, if you do ever get lost and you need to go, hey, team, I need to like re align what I'm supposed to be doing, throw people into a partner share. Get them
Oh,
talking to each other, and then you can go and ask team your question and then bring them back.
I love it. So for a moment, we're going to break and we're going to talk about what I just talked about, whatever that was.
Yep.
And I'll be right back. I
Right.
love that. I
Right.
just imagine that a lot of people that are doing these live events are probably feeling that like, oh my gosh, I know when I prepare for an hour-long keynote, sometimes it's a 4-month process, right? Just to memorize every single line, get your staging, your blocking and staging in there, and really be able to perform it. But it looks like, having you on your team would help someone transition through that. So that's a great thing to help ramp that up even quicker because I don't even know how I would practice a 16-hour um, keynote.
Yeah, well, it's all in sections, right? So it's like a 90-minute section, a break, a 90-minute section, a break. And you know this stuff, right? It's like it's in your program. So, if we're talking about how to get speaking gigs in your own backyard, you're gonna go ahead and be like, okay, this is how, we find the gigs. That's one section. And it's not 90 minutes full of you talking. It's again like Netflix, right? It's just not straight talking to them. It is okay. Why are you here? What is your purpose and intention of being here, audience member? It's teaching the content 20, 30 minutes. It's giving them a writing exercise. It's doing a pair share. It's doing a group share. It's sharing in the big audience. All of that takes time. So if you're going to you're going to write something down for, let's just say, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're going to share with your partner for 5 minutes each. That's another 10 minutes. You've already taught for 30 minutes. I'm already at 40, 50 minutes of a 90-minute segment. You've got your announcements at the top. That's what, 5 minutes. You've got 5 minutes on the back end, so another 10 minutes, so you're already at like 60, 70 minutes worth of your 90-minute segment. It goes by fast.
I love it. I love it. So where does it go wrong?
Oh, so many places. Um, so what part do you want it to go wrong at?
Oh,
Um,
nowhere, right?
no, nowhere, right? And that's one of the reasons why you would want to bring somebody on to handle a lot of the I don't know what I don't know pieces. It can go wrong in the venue contract negotiations. It can go wrong in setting up the run a show so it actually leads into your offer. It can go wrong in how you set up the sales and how you move people. It can go wrong in the team, having the right team doing the right things, moving where they need to, because your team needs to be a couple of steps ahead of you as the speaker and the host. You don't need to be thinking about logistics of, okay, lunch is coming up and this is what we're having and this is where you go to have the, like, no. You need to just be in your zone of genius. So having the right team to support you in where, like, just move you around, like, be in charge of you, right? You're in charge of creating the experience for the audience and delivering upon the promise of the event. Let your team support you in making sure that you can actually do that. It can go wrong on the back end. Like, what are you doing to onboard everybody? It doesn't just end when the event ends. You now need to have a follow up system. What is the sales ongoing continued conversation? Every beat deserves to be looked at and broken down.
I love it. And that's a very good point, Shay, because, I think a lot of times people are shocked that just because you open cart doesn't mean people come running with their
Yes.
carts to fill it, right? There's sometimes follow up, and a lot of times those sales close and the follow up after the event happens.
We had a client make $2 million at the event and an additional $1 million post event
Wow,
because of follow up.
that is amazing. Amazing. So tell me about virtual events, virtual
Okay.
versus live in person. What are you thinking they rank right now against each other?
You're never going to beat in person. Even when we are in pandemic, in person still would have outweighed virtual. However, I do feel that virtual has a place. So if you're starting out and you have a lower budget, virtual is an option. Virtual, I mean, I don't know if people realize it, but when you do a masterclass, that's a virtual event. You deserve to be looking at it from the perspective of how do I keep it engaging? How do I not just talk at them, but have some visuals, have some slides, have some type in chat, drop an emoji, pull somebody up, ask a question, right? So if we're thinking at it from that perspective, how to engage the audience, they're going to be so much more like, oh my God, 8 hours flew by versus the ones that are just talking at you the whole time. They're going to check out and they're going to be like, I can be doing something else at the moment. So when you're doing those type of engaging virtual events, they're still super powerful. You're not going to be in the same situation as you would as an in-person, because the in-person you have the event after the event, meaning you're going to dinner together, you're in the hallways, you're meeting people and networking. It's a little harder to do that in a virtual space. We've tried it and done like virtual hallways before doors open up and people just kind of go to network, but it's just not the same experience. And Zoom cuts you out if one more than one person is talking, and so we've tried, but
Yeah, those Zoom rooms are kind of, I don't know, weird and
yeah,
in many ways. I usually just end up leaving them because it's just,
a
you
little
get
awkward.
these names with no faces, that are popping up and it's hard to
Mm,
have a conversation. So
hmm
that's really interesting. You've offered a lot of great advice with related to event planning, Shay. Um, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
I would suggest going where it gets to be easy. Business gets to be easy. I think we make it harder than it needs to be sometimes. I do that all the time. I'm doing it from experience. And it's been a little bit of my mantra this year is it gets to be easy. So how can I make it easier? And having the team also lean into that. So with what you're doing now, if you're not utilizing events, can an event make your business easier? And see, do I need to be doing a summit if I'm wanting to gain leads and have a whole bunch of other people mail out for me and having content and stuff? Is that's where I'm at right now in my business is gaining more leads on my list? Maybe you need to do a summit. If you're wanting to, sell them into an event ticket, maybe I need to do a masterclass or sell them into a strategy call. If I'm looking to sell my high ticket, then I'm looking at an enrollment event. Like, how can we make it easier and go instead of one-on-one to one to many?
I love it. And how long does it take in advance to plan these events? I'm just curious.
By the time I come on board, I like to have at least 3 months. Now, granted, I've done it in a month. I had a client where she reached out to me. She was actually on my podcast, and she reached out saying, "Okay, I'm doing an event, but it's in a month, and I have 30 people in the room, and I want 100." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go." Uh, and we did it, and we had 100 people in the room, and we had hit the ground running. And she already had the venue, so that was helpful. But it can be done. My preference is at least 3 months. If I can have more than 3 months, especially if it's going to be an international event, that is ideal for me.
I love it. So at least 90 days, guys. So if you're wanting to do an event, 90 days is a good place to start with that. And Shay, I always ask our guests, if you could leave one piece of advice, it could be personal or business, what would that advice be?
I would say trust. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, and trust that the universe has your back. And you know your expertise, you know your content, serve from your heart, and the audience will follow.
I love it. I love it. And Shay, how can our viewers and our listeners, how can they contact you to work with you and to learn more, to
Yeah,
follow you?
beautiful. Well, on the social medias, either under Shay Wheat or Grace and Ease Productions, website graceandeaseproductions as well.com. And if it's okay, I have a gift for your audience
Oh, we
members.
love free stuff, so
Okay,
please.
good. I know if somebody is looking to start out looking at an event, like where do they look? Where do they start? So if you're wanting to, launch your next seven figure event or a small retreat, team is really something you want to take a look at, and you want to make sure that you're utilizing and leveraging them so you can protect your profit. So we've created the initial event planning playbook. You can pick that up at eventfreegift.com. So that way, okay, what is the purpose and intention? Why am I doing this? What kind of budget do I need? Am I having guest speakers? Is it virtual or in person? What are the goals? When are the dates? It just kind of starts mapping out all of those questions you need to start. And then you can give that document to your team, and they can start supporting you in making it happen. That's pulling it out of your brain, putting it on a piece of paper and saying, team, this is what I want to do. And then they can go ahead and start implementing the details.
I love it. I love it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Shay's link in our show notes. So for you guys that are driving, in a place where we don't want you to put yourself in jeopardy, when you get to a safe place, you can definitely download that to start preparing your next event. Thank you, Shay, so much for joining us today and sharing your wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I want you to have your most profitable year ever. Yes, no matter what's going on in the economy, no matter what's going on in the world, you can have your best year ever. And I want to show you how. Join me in our private Facebook group where I will be hosting our free, yes, I said free, Profit First Masterclass. In Facebook, please join the Profit First Masterclass with Susanne Mariga. I look forward to seeing you there and watching you have your best year ever.